and welcome to my next Let's Play, which is the Grant Path of Castlevania 3. We're starting at this part again because with no need to show level 1. I already shown off in the side path. Anyway, this is Grant's path. Probably my least favorite path in the game. I have my reasons. I just don't think Grant's all that useful. I will be using him a lot, just for the sake of doing it, because what would be the point of the playthrough otherwise? Because I've already played through the game twice. There's only a handful of levels I haven't shown yet, which I will be showing off. That's part of the appeal of doing it, otherwise I wouldn't have done the playthrough. But yeah, this is the clock tower. Curiously missing from the other playthroughs, because usually in Castlevania games the clock tower comes late. They usually save it for last, like most famously is the clock tower in Castlevania 4, where it's like the second to last level in the game. And same with in Rondo of Blood. And I'm trying to remember, in Bloodlines it was level 4, which is towards the second half of the game. But here in Castlevania 3, it's the very second level of the game. Anyway, I've already got my, as you probably already noticed, I have my holy water up to level 3. I basically I did it off camera, of course, so there wasn't any need to show it. But I just basically grinded up the kills so I could get my triple shot holy water, because I intend on using this for the whole game. It may not be a little realistic for you guys to expect to keep it, but don't worry about it too much, because I will be using Grant most of the time anyway, once I do get him. Anyway, these things, we really only saw this in the last level of the game. But yeah, there's not much to them, you just jump on them, and they don't carry your momentum, so be wary of that. You still have to make your own momentum by jumping forward. There's, I think that's just a big heart, nothing special. Those gear platforms right there, they have no momentum of their own, so don't be afraid of them. But yeah, this is actually a pretty easy level, at least getting through it the first time. What I don't really like about the clock tower level here is that you basically have to go through it twice. You'll see that eventually. Because it's the same level, nothing's changed, it's just the way you go about doing it. Which I think is kind of silly. And actually, a neat little quirk is you can touch them from the side and take no damage at all, but they are a one-hit kill if you land on them, so be careful of that. But yeah, it bothers me that these gears don't actually do anything, because I know in 4, they will move you around, so it's like here they don't. I guess I just didn't care to program it in or something. Up there is an extra life, but we can't get it. But just keep that in mind for later, once we get Grant. And I'll go fully into detail on what Grant can do later. And a triple shot if you don't have it. There's an axe. I'm not going to get that because we'll be able to get an axe later. And actually, it's curious that they have it right there, because the axe is pretty much the only sub-weapon Grant can really use. Like, he gets a basic throwing dagger. It's not, like, that's actually one reason why I really don't like Grant in the American version. I don't like him in this version of the game all that much, but in the American version, he only gets a small little stabbing dagger. He doesn't get a throwing one, which kind of sucks. The range is pitiful. I think the damage is the same. I never tested it, so there's a dagger. Avoid it unless you really want it. Anyway, there's meat if you need it. I don't, but maybe you do. But yeah, he doesn't get the throwing dagger in the American version, which is really part of the appeal of Grant. Anyway, if you've got triple holy water, you can wreck him. Otherwise, you can use the axe to hit him when he's on the ceiling, and that's a good way to deal with him. He really shouldn't give you much trouble, though. mentioned speed, and that's actually a good thing to pick up on, is because he actually has a much faster walking speed than anyone else. And we have... Oh, I always wondered what's on the left side of that, because that actually gets blocked off and you can't do anything with it. Probably nothing, but yeah, press the select button, we can switch between characters. And we finally get to see what Grant is like. And he's got throwing daggers, like I mentioned. In the American version, he only gets a small little stab. And the only sub-weapon Grant gets that's really worth using is the axe. Now, curiously, he can only get up to level 2 with it. He can't get up to level 3. I don't know why they imposed that limitation on him, but I guess to differentiate between his axes and Trevor's. But if you're going to use Trevor's axes, you know, there's really no point in using Grant's axes, you know, because you'd just be doubling up on the same sub-weapon. And that's why I like, that is one thing I do appreciate this map, is you can sort of double up on more useful sub-weapons and be a bit more varied. Like, you can have the holy water and the axe, or the cross and the axe, and whatever you want. And I'm trying to actually get this candle here. Yeah, he can also climb on ceilings and even throw daggers from the ceiling, which is really nice. And you can, most of the time you won't really be able to take advantage of that for like sniping enemies or anything like that, but there's a few situations where you can. I've already got up to level 2, so there's really no need for me to work myself over for kills. I actually didn't realize at the time I had a level 2, so that's why. But yeah, this is kind of what we're doing, is the same level, just backwards. I don't really like this. I think it's kind of lazy. Some people say that reverse Castle and Symphony is lazy, but at least some things are different. Like, at least there's different music in different areas. At least this isn't terribly long, so we don't have to deal with it all that much. Anyway, once we get all the way to the left, if I can get there. No, this isn't the end of the level. Yeah, I thought it was. My bad. We're getting there. I wish this level would end already. This is partly why I don't play as Grant that much, because I really don't like this clock tower level. It's actually my least favorite level in the game. Even more so than that level, or level 7. Oh, and that's gonna be fun, doing level 7 without Alucard. Oh boy. But yeah, for all the levels I've already played before with on the Alucard path, I'm just gonna do pretty much as just Grant by himself. Yeah, just for some sake of variety, because we've already seen everything else before. Okay, come on. And there we go. Got it. But yeah, it's the same thing, just doing it all over again. Now, I don't recommend you do what I do here, which you'll see in a second. Or do I not do that? Don't remember. Pretty sure I do. Yeah, here we go. That can get you killed if you're not careful, because the screen scrolls so fast you won't be able to tell when the bottomless pit is coming up. But yeah, we're finally out of the clock tower. Thank fucking God. yes, we've already gone through the Mad Forest before, but I'll take it over the Clock Tower. And if you go through the Clock Tower, you come to this part instantly instead of having to do the whole first half of the stage. Anyway, with the axe, we can very easily take these guys out. We don't even need them cross. Yeah, with the axe and Grant, you really shouldn't even be touched by these guys. It's pathetic how easy they are to kill with them. I mean, that's what the axe was made for, flying enemies. Part of why I think it's the best sub-weapon on Blood, because, well, that game has so many flying enemies. And we can easily take him out with the dagger. The range on the dagger is great, even though the damage isn't that good. But if you want pure damage, you just switch to Trevor instead. That's sort of the trade back with Grant. You get a lot of mobility and dexterity, but you lack pure raw power. But that's the thing Trevor lacks is the mobility, because he's got the stiff jump and he can't really do anything in terms of getting around. Of course, you don't need that mobility to beat this game, but you know, it offers it if you want it. And this is why a lot of people really like Grant a lot, and I get that. It's just, I'm so used to the classic Castlevania style, I have no problem playing as Trevor or Sypha. Yeah, I will be skipping Sypha's part, because there's really no need. Because we've seen all the levels on Sypha's path. You could take our path if you wanted to, and there'd be nothing wrong with that, but there's still a few levels left we haven't seen. So, I'll get to those. The only reason I'm showing these levels off is, like, maybe you didn't see the other playthroughs, and you just want to know how to get through these, or you want to see someone get through these levels, and, well, here's how. And there's actually something very curious about this swamp here, and you'll see it in a second. It's not anything major, it's just a curious technicality. See right there, it counted me as being on the wall, even though I'm not. There's no wall there. I don't get that. But no, well. It's not a big deal, it just seems like a weird glitch. These bats are so much easier to avoid when you have mid-air control. So, part of the reason why I love Castlevania 4 so much. The bats aren't anywhere near as much of a problem because of that. That and the limp whip. That really helps matters. I like that only Grant can get access to that rosary and no one else can. Actually, I don't like that, but I'm being silly and ironic. Anyway, this level's pretty much the same as you saw with Alucard. A little bit easier because we have better mobility. I don't think mobility is necessary, like some people do, but you know, I'm used to Castlevania. This part's kind of annoying if you're using just Grant. Those spirit things are hard to hit. Thankfully, the daggers go through walls, so that's nice. He can also pick up the stopwatch, but I really don't like it. I've never actually seriously tested the stopwatch to see what it works and doesn't work on, because I know in Castlevania 1, I think it only works in the first two bosses, and everything after that is immune. I'm not quite certain on what it does and doesn't work on. Anyway, if you don't kill those bats before they get up and get out of their hiding place, I don't think you can dodge them. I'm not really sure about that, but anyway, for this boss, Axe is your best friend. See, I'm just making mincemeat out of it. I don't know how I dodged that without getting hit. Holy War's not gonna do much good, and really, maybe the cross can help. But that's the end of this part for Let's Play Castlevania 3.